Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for your time, energy and patience for joining this reading and for waiting as long as you have. Once again, this is Aluminum Tarot. I am coming back to you after a lengthy sabbatical due to changes in certain life circumstances which have basically put me off the path. And in order to get those things reorganized, I had to take some time out. This has required a move in my personal life. This has required also a search for new employment and lots of other challenges that I am working to overcome at this particular moment. But despite that, we're going to get back on our square for this particular readings. And I do thank you once again for your patience in dealing with that. For the 93 people who are subscribed, thank you. You mean a lot. And additionally, we're going to go ahead and move into the particular period that we're going towards, which is going to be having a solar eclipse, if I'm not mistaken, and that's going to take place on the 8th. So look out for that. That's going to be a very, very interesting time and period of cleansing and purging, which hopefully this will help to do so for a lot of people in their personal lives and then get people back on the right path. Anyways, that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get right into it. If you would like a personal reading from Aluminum Tarot, please look at the information in the description box below. Please also note that scammers are about, and make sure that you are on the lookout for these people because they do pose as different tarot card and even other YouTube readers, which of course is going to take away from their earnings for the month. And no one wants that, right? Of course. So let's go ahead. We'll get into it. This is going to be a reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Ready? Let's begin. Let's see here. That's going to be a lot going on. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. What's going on with you? Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Sun, Moon, and Rising. What's going on for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising? What's going on for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising? One more. Okay, let's cut. Okay, so moving forward, what do we see happening here? Current energy. Okay, what's the challenge? What happened in the recent past? What happened in the what's going to happen in the near future? We have all sorts today for Virgo. That's crazy. It's at the core. What's already known? What is visible? And what is the likely outcome for the month of April? Oh wow, I've got a lot to talk about here. So currently what you don't see coming is Page of Pentacles reversed. I think we can talk a little bit about more of that in detail, but what that kind of insinuates to me is a lack of communication that you are waiting to come into based on a practical level. Perhaps there's something that you may need to learn about in due course. But before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about the energies that we see here. Now, I am seeing nothing but sword energy or authoritative energy. You have two major arcanas, one in the core and one at what's already known. So there are a lot of energies moving your life at this particular moment. Now, to begin, we see here the Three of Swords as your current energy, and that is in reverse, but also we see the challenges that Ace of Swords. So either A, you're trying to cut out something that has been pretty detrimental to your life, that's caused you a lot of heartache, pain, and sorrow, And what you're trying to do now is to get the clarity or the wherewithal to do that. Now for you, whatever you experienced in your life was a very difficult issue. Whether or not that was a relationship issue where you were cheated on, or there was a third party involvement, or you were betrayed by someone, that would normally indicate the Three of Swords. Normally it's about three people involved in the betrayal. Three different people communicating at each other and then stabbing you basically through the heart. And so what that indicates for you is that even if this was a workplace situation, there were probably about a group of people, 3 to 4 people, involved in the sabotage of your life path, and you trying to cut out the feelings or the particular situations that are linked to that. Now, in the recent past, you have the Page of Swords. This is indicating that someone has had to make a painful realization about what has taken place and to learn or to speak the truth about the matter. And with that, it can be a bit of a harsh communication, but that invariably leads to learning something new. So you also may have had to do a bit of research on the matter and understand exactly what went wrong with the betrayal, so that you can actually arrive at that Ace of Swords moment. And the challenge of that is actually moving into another Swords card, which is the Six of Swords, sorry. And the Six of Swords actually tells that we are going to be moving into calmer waters if we carry on the right path. So after doing a bit of research and intelligence, because the Page of Swords is a spy, it is also a gatherer of data, that then will allow us to move on and move forward. So either we need to speak our piece, move forward, or we actually need to find out what it is that we need to do in order to move forward with our life. Since this is a Virgo energy here, if you have Virgo moon, this would definitely be on the emotional level. Now, speaking about that, we can ask, what kind of period are we moving into that? There you go. That came up for Taurus, but that was at the beginning. And Taurus had the Ace of Wands as the current energy, but it was reversed. Now this, you're actually moving into this. This is the Ace of Wands upright. This is a new start for your life. And we can actually see that with this new start, we have another one, Page of Cups. Something that you feel really passionate about, something that you would allow yourself to feel, put you in a better headspace, I would even say, because the swords are the mental space for you and for everyone. What we see here, though, is that right now, number 13, and I was actually listening to Danzig not too long ago, and I was thinking about the Johnny Cash cover he did of the song 13, and he talks about bad luck, blowing up my back, a bad wind blowing up my back. I bring trouble to everywhere I'm at. And that's loosely put. I don't know the entire lyrics of the song, but I'm a Danzig fan, so I probably should do a little bit better than that. That said, we'll look at the situation which actually talks about feeling extremely burdened and going through a kind of transformative period in your life where it seems that everything that you knew is being erased and replaced. Now for you, if you've been comfortable, this is almost like a slow and steady tower moment. And tower moment's usually fast and abrupt, which is why it's insinuated by Aries as Scorpio, and that's to clear out everything in your life. But another Scorpio card here, Death, is actually indicating of a slow, gradual process. So maybe you've seen this betrayal coming in your life, and now what you're trying to do is to make, allow yourself to escape the mess that has taken place. And this is actually going to give you a transformative, moment for you to reflect and pause in your life. Because when we look at winter and we see how it moves from the decaying and death of leaves and of trees, grass, all the insects begin to scatter, the birds move south to warmer nations. We see that there is a clearing out And this period is a period of reflection. It's a place where we can be still and quiet within ourselves as everything around us passes away. And then once that's over with, we emerge new into the spring. And so that's what I kind of see you having here, a little bit of a spring. Maybe a spring in your step, but also a spring in your life. And I think that this is a very important period for you because this is one that you cannot escape no matter what you try to do. And perhaps it was fate that you went through this particular period. So that way you could learn some tough life lessons about trust, but also about what, boundaries specifically with people. Because what we have here at the top, the energy that's already known, we have the Emperor, but he's in the reversed. And the Emperor normally is in control of his life. And when this goes out of balance, one of two things can happen. You can either you can feel like life is spiraling out of control, or you can try to hold on even further and clamp down and become kind of authoritarian with the way that you deal with life. So too much control or too little control puts things off balance, and the Emperor is knocked off of his throne. So for you specifically, you're trying to get back onto that throne and to reclaim your life as best as possible. And not only is it that your control over life, but it feels like your position as an authority or an authoritative figure has also been knocked off or knocked down. And now you're trying to understand exactly the best path to get back on and to, specifically look at what it is that will help you to feel a bit more in control of your life now. So I see you doing that. And these are very, very initial steps that will take place in the near future. It's the Ace of Wands and the Page of Cups. And for you, it kind of indicates to you, in order for you to move forward into calmer waters, you will actually find, number one, you'll find a new start. You'll find something that sparks your passion and triggers your ability to have that new fiery passion for the things that you enjoy doing in life. And it's something completely new, something that's almost like full energy, or you're just moving on. You're moving on from all of the dross and the negativity from beforehand after you receive that painful clarity and realization. And then you're going into the Page of Cups, which is going to allow you to then start to fill your cup with something new. And normally this will come from an external source. It can come from an internal feeling or a realization that you have. But I see like something being offered to you, which will then help you to find that new start. So whether that's a new job, a new project, whether that's a new place to live, a vacation or a holiday that helps you to clear your mind and reinvigorate yourself as a person or an individual, then take it, because that will allow you to then start to put yourself on the right path, which will then lead to the world, that leveling up. And there's so many things that we could talk about with the world. When you look at the world, you see here that there are 4 signs here. We have all the fixed signs. We have Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, represented by the eagle, and then Aquarius, which is the water bearer. And what that does is that allows us to move between the fixed signs and be stable, to understand that we are complete and whole and immutable in who we are. That is until the cycle repeats again. But feeling whole and complete allows us to do this. And hopefully YouTube didn't demonetize or, play around with the algorithms, because I showed some naked ladies on a centuries-old tarot deck. Anyways, thank you, YouTube, for your algorithms. And another reason why I had to take a break is because the algorithms were starting to drive down the viewership. That said, hopefully that'll clear up, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Rant over. Anyways, so we're looking at the world, we're finding ourselves complete and whole and new, and we're taking the next stage forward. So whatever it is that begins to spark your passions is going to actually lead into a new kind of world for you and a new level of engagement with the world. No longer are you connected by your pain, but with that Ace of Swords, you take that and you become the Page of Swords in order to cut through what it is that has caused this betrayal. So it indicates for me that you will have to sit in that mental space, because in the Six of Swords, we see that these people do not have anything but the clothes on their back, and the person is ferrying them across the river and to the shores that they see, in the future, right ahead of them. And I like to think back to a song, Lamb, The Other Shore. That is one of my favorite songs from that band. And it's a very forlorn type of song. But if you listen to it, if you ever go on YouTube, you can look up Lamb, The Other Shore. And it talks about this a bit. Moving from one part of your life to the next part of your life through the pain that has been caused. These six swords do not make the journey or the trip easy to traverse, but eventually you do make it on the other shore. Of course, this person who is the ferryman has been doing this for a very long time. Their service is to actually move you onwards, no matter how rocky the transition is. And with death, that is the mother of all transitions. We don't look at death as something that tells us, oh, well, this is a finality, this is the end. It's the ending of one thing and the beginning of a new thing. And that new thing is the World card. It is bringing you into the next phase of your life, which is going to be so much more plentiful. Now, what can we talk about with this World phase? What will the World card bring? Okay, one more card. What will the World bring? So, what we see coming is hope. Betrayals are never easy, and of course we did talk a little bit about the tower. It kind of feels like a little mini tower moment that's taken place in your life, a slow tower moment. But after the tower comes the star. So we move from the 16 to the 17. And in essence, 1 plus 6, 17, sorry. My maths ain't doing so well right now. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 is strength in the major arcana. So it is telling you to have some strength and fortitude as you move forward with this, transition. You always hear people say, walking through the valley of the shadow of death, you will fear no evil. Well, that's what you're going to have to do precisely. We're no longer focusing on the material of our life. We're actually looking at the insights that you're going to get from this particular period. And again, if your moon is in Virgo, this is more on an emotional level and an emotional scale. And this allows you to kind of take this pause that you needed. This also resonated quite a bit with Taurus. So if you have Taurus in your chart as well, have a look at that reading, and that will tell you a little bit more about things based on a life path. This would be, for me, specifically on a more emotional level. With the Hangman, it can feel like you're stuck in your life. And it can feel like things are not moving, but this is also the Piscean state that people remain in when they experience a death, physical death. Because that movement between the physical world from one shore, which is represented by an island, a piece of land, the material, earth, through the water, into the other shore, which is the new life that lies ahead, the reincarnation, the birth, the rebirth. Well, the Hangman will be that ocean that lies between the two of those. And that's the sign of Pisces, which also represents the reflective emotional state that takes place during that period of cessation of life and the rebirth that takes place when they're reincarnated. And during that period, the person gets to reflect on the life that they've lived. This is number 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. That is the Empress. So what they're doing, they're trying to expand and grow their particular mind so that way they can understand and grow their new life. We are deconstructing everything about ourselves in this death period. So, of course, the body rots. And, of course, we're left with nothing but a shell, but our bones left behind, represented by Capricorn. We leave behind our legacy and our skeleton. Those are the two Capricornian traits that we learn about, that death allows us to leave behind. Our legacy and our bones. Well, what gets to move forward, what we do take with us, are the lessons that we've learned through this period of illumination. So while it may seem painful to be bound by one foot from a tree, which is the tree of life, to gain that wisdom and insight and clarity, what we're doing is actually, despite the pain of this, particular feeling, we're gaining immense illumination and clarity. So if you have been betrayed by someone, whether that is a relationship in work or a relationship in romance, rather than blaming the other person, what we're doing now is we're leaving that person behind. We're reflecting on the lessons that taught us. So for example, it's easy to point the finger, but you always have three fingers pointed back at you, as they always say. You want to, this time, try to say, what did I learn from this relationship? What did I learn from this betrayal at work? What did I learn from this betrayal, amongst my friends? It's no longer really time to work, to distract ourselves with things all the time. It's forcing us to go inward instead. So when we looked at the star, if you notice with the Hermit here, the Hermit is actually carrying the same star. And that star is the path of illumination, which is what the star represents. In order to receive this star, the Hermit has to go inward. And it has to actually find that clarity by staying alone and by itself for a period of time. And in essence, that's what happens in death on a larger scale. Oftentimes when we deal with really difficult situations, difficult scenarios, and difficult circumstances within life, we have to go into this hermit mode where we don't feel like being bothered. We just want to sit back and illuminate. We don't want to actually work on anything. What we want to do now is know where we went wrong and where we're going to move forward, because the hermit is going basically in a sea of endless nothingness and is only guided by a staff, which could be represented as a wand, and the star within the lantern, which is what powers his path forward, illuminates his path forward. Hermit also being number 9 is the path of completion, nearly being complete. So whenever you have 9s in the tower, it can indicate someone is nearly at the 10. And that, I feel, is going to take place with you soon. So what kind of advice do we have right now? Let's see. I'm going to take 2 cards for some reason. As we said before, this isn't really a time to work. It's a time to reflect and to think about what's taken place in your life. Queen of Pentacles. Nurture your own sense of value, your sense of self-worth, and even your finances. So that way, the next phase in your life, you'll be prepared for it. Because right now, there was a period in your life where I feel like you felt so obsessively tied to something, whether it was a really awful job, whether it was a really bad relationship, and you may have stayed in that longer than needed to, because what we have with the devil here, we have 2 people who are actually becoming the very thing that is holding them and binding them. They're growing into a flame with the Adam figure here, and with the Eve figure, the fruit. So this is the passion of the Martian energy, and this is the abundance of the earth and feminine energy. So it's at the material level. So what it's indicating is that maybe you felt like this job would provide you the status or the connections or the things that really you think would make you feel good on the surface, because of course the devil is represented by Capricorn, and that in turn also represents the external world and how you appear to it. Not just like the ascendant, which is based on the personality and the life path, but the Ten of Pentacles is the legacy that you leave behind. I did mention that for Taurus as well. So perhaps if you're a Taurus, this message is also for you, even if you're not, even if you haven't got any Virgo placements. The devil is the way we appear to the people externally. What is it that we're holding on to, and what is it that's tying us to this black box of Saturn, which indicates the restrictive qualities within our life or the restrictions that we're facing that are self-imposed. These two could easily slip out of these collars, these chains, at any time they wanted, but it's not like the devil's a bad particular entity here. It's just the devil showing us this is where we are, in our life at this point. The devil's holding this torch. And the devil is illuminating what these people are becoming as they hold on so deeply to their restrictions. It's time for you to get rid of that. It's time for you to actually get clear on what it was that was toxic within your life that created the situation leading up to the slow and painful death process. The universe is actually telling you that it's time. The devil also is symbolic of Kronos, which in Greek mythology represented, people and their finality, the finality of everything that's created in the universe. Kronos basically is, if I'm not mistaken, liberated by Zeus, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And it could be Zeus or Uranus. I need to look back at my Greek mythology. But essentially what happens is that when we look at the devil card, it shows us that the time is up for this thing that we've held on so long to. You're now getting clear. The universe is forcing you to become clear on what it is that you've been tied and restricted to. And that Uranian energy or that Jupiter energy is going to allow you to break free from that and to slay that restriction and move forward within your life. Now, I hope this has helped you. And if so, please give a like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you'd like a personal reading, once again, please look at the information in the description box below. I do really, really appreciate your time and energy and your attention to this reading. Thank you so much again. This is Aluminum Tarot. Please join again next time. I will keep these readings regular. And until then, love and light. Bye now.